the Rangers Journal now.
Good evening and welcome everyone to the Wednesday edition of the Rangers Journal. My name's Ryan. I'm joined by Dylan and Stevie tonight in a week that started for us with an interview with Matt Miyoko from the 49ers. If you haven't seen that, guys, get yourself over and get that checked out. Over 11,000 viewers. And if you like what you see, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Again, also a week that sees the famous Glasgow Rangers fly the flag for Scottish football in Europe. Making sure that all the other clubs benefit from the coefficient points that we're going to make from them so that they can get to the Champions League, and we probably won't. But anyway, how are we getting on, guys?
Good.
Very good, mate. Thanks, yourself.
Brilliant. Dylan, I'll come to you first of all, mate. Where are you on the battle fever barometer, mate?
See, to be fair, I feel like a hypocrite because I done a pod maybe last month and I was on and Clement was still in charge and I was saying how I don't really care about the Europa League games and season's done, but tomorrow I'm buzzing for tomorrow night now, so hopefully we can go there, get a good performance and get through to the next round, see where it takes us.
Brilliant. Stevie, yourself, mate?
Kind of similar to Dylan, definitely feel a bit more energised since the managerial change. Especially after last Thursday, it was a tremendous result. Great performance. Everything about it was perfect. It really was a huge boost, especially after the Motherwell game. So, yeah, to me, obviously, I'm a Rangers fan, so I'm a bit biased, but to me, tomorrow night's the best tie of the night. I think a lot of eyes will be on us at Ibrox. So, yeah, really excited for it.
Yeah. I always go through the emotions, don't you? Especially leading into a kind of such a big, important game for us that I'm probably now, much like yourselves, at the very much excited stage. I'll probably wake up tomorrow morning. I'll be kind of in the kind of sober stage of it all, just thinking, a draw will do is let's just make sure we get through the tie. 0-0, 1 each to each, whatever it will be. I'll then get to the afternoon where it'll be the nerves and I'll have us losing. I'll be all right, we'll just lose 1-0. It'll be okay. We'll be absolutely fine. We'll still get through it. And then by the time I get to Ibrox tomorrow, I'll have us stuffing them 5-0 or something like that and get through, and it'll be one of the greatest nights in our history in Europe. So I'll come with the questions first of all, guys. I prepared a few things for us. So yeah, big match nerves. Both Ferguson and Mourinho made a point that it's only half time in the tie. Both of them were kind of very, clear to point that out, that they both felt that the tie was far from over. Do you think that either manager's going to come out, especially probably more Barry Ferguson, to come to you first of all, Dylan? Do you think Ferguson's going to come out and try and kill the tie off early doors? I think most of us believe that if we get one goal early, that the tie would be over. Do you think Ferguson would do that? I think he would go for it.
I think he went for it in Turkey, to be honest with you. We touched on it last night, but the press was there. We get players up the park, we had forward runners. We're pretty aggressive for the form that Fenerbahce was in, and the way that we approached the game I thought was really impressive. He alluded to the day maybe, cheers Paul, maybe having a back two or a back three or a back four. So I don't know if he's maybe thinking about changing up. I think he's just maybe saying that to keep us on our toes or to keep Jose Mourinho on his toes. But I think it's Ibrox, isn't it? If all he has to do is keep it the same as he done the last game for me, we forced Fenerbahce wide and we dealt with the balls that come into the box. So for me, mate, I just approach it the same. Don't overcomplicate it. I wouldn't change it too much. I thought it worked to a T.
Yeah. Stevie, yourself, mate, Jose Mourinho in his pre-match press conference at Ibrox earlier on today, more than one occasion described us as a defensive team, using low blocks and counter-attacking. Do you think Ferguson will look to take control of the game early doors and basically just try and take, I've spoken a couple of times about looking for a right professional performance from us tomorrow night. Do you think he'll go out and really just try to keep a hold of the ball early, use the home advantage and use the size? Obviously, we know Ibrox is a huge part. I think he'll be looking to use the size of the park and just sort of calm things down and take control.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the atmosphere is going to be amazing. So I'm pretty sure we'll come at the blocks. But Josie's, he's just such a sly old fox. He's trying to get inside Barry Ferguson's head there. Like, it's just wee digs, subtle digs. Because I thought it was really kind of like complimentary and humble last week. And this week, as it's been built, I think he even started it last Thursday night, the later interviews. He's probably started like needling Ferguson a bit, like, you're this, you're that. And it's like, Barry's just got to shut that out. he's got, it's like a dream scenario, really going into Ibrox 2 goals up. The tie's not over. They've got players that can really hurt you. Guys like Tadic, Dzeko, like they're loaded with talent and experience. I kind of hope that Ibrox will maybe overawe them, but it could also inspire them. So from our perspective, I think we need a really fast start. If we can get a goal, I don't want to say the tie's over, but we're almost there. Whereas if they score first, they can get a second quickly, and then it's all to play for. So it really is set up. I think it can be a fantastic game of football. But much like yourself, Ryan, I'm going to go through the emotions of Morris, definitely, even before the game. So, fast start. Just keep it solid like we did last week. Have a really good, decent start. There's much.
There's nonsense has arrived.
Yeah.
So too good.
Brilliant. So, fresh in the back of his dinner. We've got Mitch with us now.
Aye, still thinking of curry sauce, mate.
Still thinking of curry sauce. There you go, mate. Brilliant. Listen, I was just asking the boys here, first of all, where are you on your battle fever barometer at the moment?
Do you know, I'm not worried going into tomorrow. I'm really not.
So you're me tomorrow morning now. So
genuinely, the way I look at it is we've got 2-goal leads. We're at home. They need to do all the work. They want us, come get us. Literally, that's the attitude for the next 90 minutes tomorrow night. You want us, come get us. And when we have the ball, don't do anything stupid with it.
Yeah, definitely. So the other thing I was asking the boys there before you came on is that do you think that Fenerbahce will come out early doors and try and shut us down? Do you think that could possibly leave for an opportunity of another quick counter attack for us?
I don't see them coming out balls to the walls straight from the gun. I think they're too well coached and too well drilled for that. What I do see them doing is using that opening 10 minutes to try and assert the dominance in the game. I expect them to have 60-70% possession over that first 10 minutes if we let them. And at that point, I expect them to move the ball around themselves. And at that point, when they start trying to move the ball around themselves, that will leave holes. And that's when the players that we've got with a bit of pace and a bit about them have got to get on their bikes pretty much, and they've got to be on it from minute one.
Yep, definitely. Guys, Barry Pearson spoke about a couple of tweaks. As good as the performance was last week, he did say there were a couple of parts of the system and the tactics that he still thinks we can strengthen. He's talking about tweaking a couple of things. I'll come to you first of all on this. Do you think he'll redeploy the 3-5-2 formation that worked so well last week?
I think it would be daft naughty for me. I think, like I said, it worked to a T, and I don't know where Mourinho's comments came from by saying that they made mistakes. And we touched on it again last night. Whoever caught the podcast. We built it for the back into midfield. We spread it wide. We had forward runners. We had third man running. I think the maybe only mistake that they made was the first goal, I would say, where they dilly-dallied on it too much. Apart from that, there was another 4 goals that could have been that obviously 2 were chopped off that were brilliant patterns of play and really, really well worked goals. So, like Mick said, I don't think they'll come out all guns blazing right at the start, like we saw towards the end of the game last week. But I think they'll definitely have a different mentality coming into this. We just need to settle the first 10 minutes. My only fear being is the last 3 games that's been at Ibrox, we have been absolutely dreadful. So we need to get over that. We need to get that monkey off our back and go over that fear of playing in front of our fans, and hopefully we can lift them and go and inspire them into going and playing well. So I would stick with it, mate. To go back to the question, I would definitely stick with the same formation because it worked a treat. I think his tweets might be maybe Sterling comes in. I don't know how fit he is, or rotation sort of way in the midfield or the left back area, or maybe the centre halves as well. So I think that'll be the tweaks, but I don't think it'll be a formation tweak now.
Sure. Stevie, yourself, Liam Kelly was obviously called up for the Scotland squad this week, so that people in high places still hold Liam Kelly in such high regard. Jack Butland's obviously come under mountains of pressure with, some catalogues of errors that have been kind of starting there, and some of them being a bit calamitous, obviously pointing towards the first goal at Motherwell last time he played at Ibrox. Do you think Butland did enough in the last game that he's, do you think that is now kind of away from him as far as the noise of getting him replaced the team, or do you think now that Butland should be looked at as the number 1?
Yeah, I mean, he had a nightmare against Motherwell, but I mean, the reaction for him, you know, your next again game's away in Turkey. You couldn't get a more difficult atmosphere and place to go, and he was fantastic last Thursday. So, yeah, he's number one for me, definitely. I've always liked Liam Kelly. I think he's a good backup goalkeeper. He's Scottish. Probably deserved to be in the Scotland squad because there's not much else there, to be fair. But Craig Gordon is about my age. So, aye, good goalkeeper. And just to echo what Dylan said, I would like to see Sterling start tomorrow if St Maximin's playing. You know, he came on last week and just sat on him straight away. First challenge. You're not going anywhere, mate. He shut him down straight away. So if St Maximin's playing tomorrow night, I'd hope Sterling plays.
I don't think he's travel, Stevie.
He's not. He's been left.
He's not.
No, he's not travelling, mate. No, so we don't need to worry about him, and that's
always,
a plus.
Oh, that's a great plus. Always going to add that
That
if we're playing the 5-3-2 with the wing backs have to be big guys. I think Sterling would be brilliant as a wing back, and I'm mostly dropped half. But look at all the best teams that played that formation. I think Chelsea a few years ago when Conte was there, I think they had like Moses and Victor Moses, and who was the other guy, the Spanish guy? I can't remember his name.
Alonso.
Yes, both those guys were phenomenal, like athletes up and down. You need that in that formation. So if we're going that way to mention Sterling, even on the left, I know it's not his natural position, but I'll try and get him in there.
Sure. We'll come to the left in a wee second. Mitch, for you, Dujon Sterling starts tomorrow night?
I wouldn't be against it, and I think there's merit in it based on me personally on the left. I would have Ridvan out there, put him back in his natural position. Yefty looks knackered at the moment, absolutely bursting his feet. I would much sooner have his pace, height, physicality taking the same role that Douge had last week, where you said, because really most of the attacks came down the left-hand side last week, because everything down the right between Tav and between Ridvan was getting snuffed out at source. By all means, Ridvan wasn't bombing up and down the pitch, you know, in terms of knocking crosses in left, right and centre, but he done his job, which was get your man, stick to him, don't let it by you. You know, and I think that's pretty much how tomorrow has to be. Is I'm aware it's a little bit, you know, almost grassroots football. You have your man, you stick to him, you do your job on him. And if you miss your man, then your pal right beside you is going to help you out.
Yeah. They'll come to you on the left-hand side. One of the things that probably one of the only vulnerabilities of a 3-5-2 formation is that, you know, you could be susceptible for a long diagonal ball come from midfield, switching the play, which is, if your wing backs are caught further up the park, that's one area of the park you could be left a bit vulnerable. Given the fact that, you know, Ridvan is, you know, not the tallest, I think it's the nicest way to put it towards him. Do you think that's possible a vulnerability that they could look at? And maybe that's a reason why you should play Jefty over Ridvan. What's your thoughts there, mate?
It's a good point, Ryan. And I was going to say that when Mitch was talking there, I just didn't want to interrupt him. That's my only worry. I think Ridvan's a better 1v1 defender. I think when the player's running at him, driving at him, he wins the ball more than he loses it. I think Jefty's still a wee bit naive in those situations. And I think Jefty's height and physicality, you've seen how many balls he put in that back post and Balogun cleared or Suter cleared. But if they missed that and you're relying on Jefty up against maybe Enesri or Tadic or Talisca who's going to come on, then it's going to be a mismatch. So for me, I think I would start Jefty. I know what you're saying. I think he is struggling as well. I think this is the most games he's played probably in his career. But the players have had a full week for this, so there's no reason why players should be leggy. And again, it's to get into the quarter-final of a European competition, so they should be giving it everything they've got. I would start with Jefty, and then I think I would definitely swap them. Run about the 60 minutes mark, give Ridvan his time. I don't know if Dujon's going to be fit enough to start the game. I would love to see him in there. But I also think, on the other hand, if you look at it, because Ridvan is left-footed, gives you that different dynamic that he can come in and maybe play a long diagonal, whereas Dujon's right-footed, so he's more focused to playing up the line. But defensively, I would rather Dujon in there if he's got the fitness to go and last. At least maybe 60 minutes and then bring on Ridvan and swap him.
Yeah, I think for me personally, if there's an opportunity to play Dujon Sterling in his natural position over playing Ridvan at right back, I think that makes sense. You know, I doubt he's got 90 minutes in his legs. The further the game goes on and the score, you know, stays in our favour, the further away it gets from Fenerbahce. So I think we make sure we do all we possibly can to, you know, make sure the clock goes as far down as it possibly can do before making any changes. Jeffrey, for me, yes, he's played a lot of minutes. He's probably out of form as well, truth be told. There's a lot of kind of mistakes. And even last week, I thought he probably was one of the players that was a bit more vulnerable there. The boy Mulder for Fenerbahce seemed to get a lot of joy against him. He got a lot of good crosses in towards the likes of Dzeko and what have you. So he was pretty dangerous. Ridvan, if he is working his ticket back to Turkey, there's no better opportunity for him to do it on Thursday night. Playing in front of a home crowd, potentially in his natural position as well. So it's one there that there's competition for play. Probably the two fullback positions are probably the ones that are most contentious for me more than anything else, to be honest with you, who starts there. I think that's probably the one where the manager needs to turn his salary, that side of things. So, Stevie, coming to you, mate, the back three last week got a lot of praise. Balogun and Suter in particular received a lot of praise from these fans. I'd heard a stat earlier on that Balogun had actually won 100% of his aerial duels last week. The manager said earlier on that Robin Propper did train with the team today. So there is a possibility you could have three natural centre-halves in there if you do push half to right back, and you could have Propper, Balogun and Suter in there. What do you think yourself for the three centre-halves starting if he decides to go that way, which we all think he does?
I'd probably rather have Sterling than Propper at centre-half. Again, keep talking about Dejan Sterling, but to me, he just that physicality, the pace, better defender than Propper for me. I think Barry said he had 2 sessions on his own and 1 session with the team. So to me, it doesn't sound like he's going to start him. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a great formation. I think I said it in a pod at the start of the season, but I'd really like to see us play that way, especially in Europe. It suits the kind of the tempo, the kind of flexibility. Something else Barry mentioned in his press the other day. He said, you need to change things within games, have that flexibility, and he was quite honest. He said, we've not had that before, which I think was a wee, not really a dig at Clement, but it's just a fact. Like we've all said it, like Clement would make like-for-like changes over the shop, and things wouldn't change in the game. Whereas Ferguson straight away at Kilmarnock, he knew it wasn't working, so he changed it. So he's a bit more brave in that respect. Really impressed me with that. So yeah, I'd be happy with 3 centre-halves, but I'd rather it wasn't Propper. Don't know about yourselves.
I'll be honest, Propper's alright in Europe. I've not really got a huge issue with Propper in Europe, and let's be honest, what happened to him last week was, Big Jack decided he was turning into Juggernaut for a minute, ran out there he came out there doing his best heed the ball impression. Would we start Propper? Probably not, given the fact that he has had to go through the head injury protocol. I think it's probably a bit ropey to start him, but then equally, if he's been passed fit by a doctor, who are we to say, without medical degrees? But I think my worry is, I don't mind Balogun versus, I don't mind him versus Dzeko, because that's 2 pensioners fighting out in the box. Getting the issue with that. But then when I look at him, do I really fancy him with that Brazilian boy? What's his name? Is it the one that was taking shots for fun last week? Talisca. I fancy him against him. Absolutely not in a month of Sundays. I think positionally Robin Propper's better, but I think athletically and physically Balogun's better. I think potentially a bit of kind of horses for courses, but at the back, I would genuinely leave Tav where he is. Get the issue with him at that centre back, especially there's some decent legs in that Fenerbahce team on the wing. I don't necessarily want to see 33, 34-year-old legs going up against fresh young legs. Whereas last week he did exactly what he had to do. Positionally, he was where you wanted him to be. He was taking the ball off the feet. He was calm and experienced under pressure. And I think that's something that over the course of the season we've probably missed at the back. Was we've had Suter obviously doing his Hurricane Door impression at the back, which is fine. I love him for that. He does that well. He is the last man Hurricane Door. But I think sometimes you need that little bit of experience and a little bit of skill beside you of the likes that have to say, I'm going to look up and I'm going to see what's happening in the middle, what's happening up the line, where can I put it that's sensible, rather than just hoof a head on it and see where it goes. So, long story short, I wouldn't mind either or at centre back with him.
Cool. They'll come to you. Obviously, I think Tav looks really comfortable in the centre half, to be honest with you. Do you think this is going to help secure Tav's long-term future at the club? Obviously, he's got another year left in his contract, which should lead to a testimonial. Do you think this is what he needs to actually see himself at Ibrox next season?
I think he would be there even if he wasn't moved into centre back. I think he still offers you that leadership role. As much as a lot of folk will say he's not a very good captain. I'm talking about from a player's point of view. They all talk very highly of him. I think he's a good backup right back to have. He wouldn't be my number one next season, but filling in, if we don't know who the manager's going to be, but Barry's went to a back three or back five, and I think it's been ideal for Tav. I think we've seen him even in the Man United game when he filled in at centre half. It was very, very good. He actually puts the ball up for Dessers' goal. Tav's quite quick for a centre half, and he's always had to deal since he came to us with sort of dealing with the long balls over the top of him. So that doesn't really faze him. He's comfortable enough on the ball. He's technical enough on the ball. Sort of like McShade, it's just a serious defender. And I think if you ask me who your best defender is, I think it's Leon Balogun. And I think we spoke about beating the first press. I think 2 goals. Well, I think one of them, or maybe even the 2 of them, are chopped off for offside. Leon Balogun gets the ball for Butland and drives forward into midfield by the first press. Proper doesn't do that for me. And I think Proper gives it a nervous energy to the other players that he's playing with as well. So I'm 100% starting Tav, Shooter and Balogun. And I think that the future of Tav, I don't think it depends on playing the centre half, but I think he could, if we do play a back five, he could probably go and play sort of most games next season as well, if that's the formation that they want to go with.
Sure. Well, listen, moving on to midfield, guys, I'll come to you first of all, Stevie. I thought, the three in the middle of the park last week done absolutely fantastic. Barron, Raskin and Diamandi, I thought all really played their part last week. Do you see that? Do you think he'll go the same? There's maybe possibly an argument that it might be seen upon to be too defensive with Raskin and Barron. Is there opportunities for the likes of possibly Hadji, Lawrence, who was called up to the Wales squad this week, even arguably Bajrami get in there? Do you think there's a possibility he might mix that and change that round a bit? I think it goes same again.
I'm going to pretend you never suggested Lawrence for tomorrow night, but I would go exactly the same. I think there's enough there between Barron and Raskin. I think Raskin was trying to be more offensive last week. I think he was generally trying to be a bit more kind of involved going forward. But I mean, the cohesion of the Hill midfield was really impressive. I mean, they dovetailed, they covered, they were just non-stop. It was all action for the entire 90 odd minutes. So I would not change it. And we're playing Jose Mourinho's team. I mean, he invented parking the bus, and we're not going to do that. We're at Ibrox. I think we're going to just be controlled aggression tomorrow. That's what I want to see. But no, I would not change that midfield. There's enough there. Dio as well. I mean, he's looked I won't say a different player, but he's looked improved since Barry's came in. And I think he's really trying to instill that sense of, I'm the boss, but you've got a huge responsibility as a player. And I think Dio's starting to rise to it. Raskin's been one of our better players all season. And Barron, it was great to see him come back in. For out in the cold to really into the Lions' Den last week, he gave a great performance. So, yeah, there's no way. I'd be amazed if that got changed tomorrow night. What do you reckon?
Mitchell, I'll come to you first of all on that, mate. Diamandi, I think it's with Raskin and Barron in beside him, it gives Diamandi more of a freedom. What do you think yourself, mate? Do you think he'll change it? And do you think what we're saying there about Diamandi is relevant? Do you think we're going to start seeing more of the Diamandi that we signed?
Yeah, aye, hands down. And he's been given the role now that he should have had when he signed, which is that more free roaming role out in the left, where he can be box to box, but he's also got a wicked set of feet on him as well. He'll pop a shot from 15, 20, 25 yards and he'll have it on target. I think as well it's important that midfield trio's got 2 terriers in there that work. I call them that. You've got one, let's be honest, but Raskin lacks in style and finesse. It makes up for him just being the gritty wee guy that annoys you when you're the opposition, because he's at your ankles. He does to us what Motherwell players and St Mirren players and all that do to us. When you've got the ball at your feet, you don't get 2 seconds with it because he's on you. And I think that's the role that Raskin gives us, that functionality. Raskin's then got that, to coin the NFL phrase, that almost quarterback role, where he's going to launch the play from midfield and he's going to dictate where it's going. And Dio's your box-to-box guy that's going to clean up the mess at the back, but he'll also be the driving force going forward. And I think don't get me wrong, I have also said for day one, I'd like to see him put a couple of pound of muscle on, just thicking up for the physical side of it. But I don't know if he's just one of these people that genetics works against them in that front, that you could tell him to go and eat 20,000 calories and he'd still look like that you could write in the paper with him.
You should get him on your curries, mate.
Oh, mate, honestly, don't.
Yeah, I'd be very jealous if he could do that, put 20,000 there. I have a steak pie and I'm feeling heavy for a week, to be honest.
You and I, a corner of a fucking cheesecake and that's us for a month, mate. For a way slimming world.
Dylan, just coming slightly off topic for tomorrow night, I'm going to say a name to you that's either going to make you shudder or make you smile. Jose Cifuentes. Would he benefit from being in this system that Barry Ferguson's playing? Obviously, the system that he was playing under Clement and under Beale didn't work for him at all, and obviously he was shipped out on loan, playing over in Greece at the moment. By all accounts, reports are that he seems to be doing quite well over there. They're looking to make the deal permanent, which is obviously a positive sign for the way that he's performing. Do you think that he could benefit from whether the clips that we've seen from him when he was playing in America? He seemed to score goals for fun. Some of the goals he was scoring were absolute worldies, and he looked like a right powerful midfielder, and it looked as if we signed a different guy. It looks as if we signed his twin brother. Do you think he's somebody that maybe gets a second chance at Ibrox under this system?
It's a really good question, and I was excited when we were linked with him. I was really excited when we signed him. I like the profile, I like his build, I think he's technically good enough, but the player doesn't fancy it. I think he could come in and play this system if he wanted to, if he was willing to go and not let the weather bother him and all the other factors that are coming into it. But if you've got the money there to go and, like Paul said, to go and recoup some money back on him, then I think the best thing to do is see him, because he doesn't want to be here. But I like the player. I wish it would have worked out different, but he falls into that the same category when we signed Lassana Coulibaly, Bogani Zungu. He's that type of player who is the same build, but just didn't quite ever really burst onto the scene, and we thought that we were maybe getting a wee gem there. Maybe not with Zungu, he's a bit older, but Coulibaly and stuff like that, and never really worked out. So I think he could come in and play into that formation, no problem. I think he would thrive in it as well, especially with hard workers beside him like Raskin and Barn, or if Raskin's a holder, him and Dio going forward, because like we said, he did have a good goal return to midfield. But I don't think I don't know if he's too similar to Dio. I know what you're saying there. I think Dio's more of a Aribo type player. Coulibaly. Cifuentes is more built. He's more got a Raskin build, but he's technically good as well. There's a wee bit of difference here, but I know what you're saying. We like to get forward and create and score goals, and it would be ideal if he would buy into it and come in and we'd have another midfielder there, because I think he is good enough to go and play in our team and in our league, or even be a rotation player, but I don't think he fancies it. So the last thing we need is to carry another passenger.
Yeah. I think when you're talking about, Diomande being a bit like a Rebo, I think Diomande's a Rebo Glenn Kamara hybrid, to be honest with you. A good mix between the two. But I'd like to see him come and have another go at it, to be honest with you. Obviously didn't settle well first time round, but we've seen guys come back from loans and sometimes they've done a bit better second time round. So we'll see how it goes. Steve, I'll come to you first of all. Thomas Tierney, absolutely fantastic last week. Two great goals. Obviously, the second one that he scored killed the tie off. First one, a wonderful 1-2 with Dessers. Does he start for you tomorrow night? There's a couple of people in the fans forum talking about Egeman getting a start over him. Does it got to be Tierney for yourself?
Have they been drinking? I like Big Iggy, but I mean, come on, Tierney's in there for the start. That's not even a question. I mean, fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but you can't drop him after that. He loves this level. He loves the spotlight. He loves the stage. I think he gets it at Rangers on a Thursday night, especially in the Europa League. And ultimately, he's in the shop window. We know he's very likely not going to be there next season. So he's really kind of, grabbing it by the scruff and showing exactly who he is. I'm sure he'll end up at a decent club. I'd like to see him stay. But no, I mean, Egeman can come on at some point tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll make an impression. But for the starting 11, no, Tierney's got to start. I think we'd all be pretty much unanimous on that.
Definitely. I think probably one thing to say is that Egeman hasn't scored since the 15th of January. since his goal against Aberdeen at Ibrox in the 3-0 win. So he's obviously going through a bit of a goal drought. In that time, Dessers has actually got 10 goals and Tierney's got 5, so there's 15 goals there. So, Mitch, I'll come to you. I don't even need to ask you this.
CD9 lead the line.
Is your man, your blue-eyed boy, does he lead the line tomorrow night?
Of course he does, mate. First name in the team sheet. Like, Dessers isn't one of those mythical purple patches with him, where it is, you know yourself, it is like finding that unicorn player. That where we were told exactly what he was before he joined us. When he's hot, he's red hot, and when he's cold, he might as well be Scottish winter. Like, and right now he's in the ascendancy to the summer heat of Dubai, no Glasgow, just to be clear. Like, but got to be the fact he's also earned the right, in my opinion, how he performed last week. He's earned the right to be in the team ahead of all options and beside him. He had the physical. He gave their centre backs an absolutely horrendous night last Thursday, to the point where I'm pretty sure they've got PTSD when they hear his name. Like, I mean, and there's probably that argument as well with the psychology behind it. Of if you're the two centre backs and you see his name in the team sheet again, you're thinking automatically, I'm in for an absolute housing afternoon here. So Dessers is leading the line all the way. And to go back to your Cifuentes point, I generally think Cifuentes, if you look at his journey when he joined us, what a howling experience and how much we nearly damaged him as a player. He was signed by one manager, a couple of months in the door. That manager's out the door. We've got Betty Bipolar joined in, obviously, who plays a completely different way to the manager who signed him. But the manager who signed him in the first place never played him properly in the right position. And by all accounts, he had some personal stuff going on, obviously, with a girlfriend and all that. Like, I don't know if that was one of these moves that, at the time, right club, wrong time, maybe a year or two down the road with a bit more life experience behind him, it could have went well. But equally, if the club that he's at just now, the chat is that they're looking to try and lower the fee that they agreed that they would pay and all that. Sorry, but say if you've not got the money for it, go and get your furry up or go and find your money up. Like, either pay what you agreed to pay, or stay out the lane. Someone else will and pay it.
I don't want to see him. Personally, I don't want to see him back at Rangers. We've seen it before. Players from Central America very, very rarely work at Ibrox. Had his chance. Fair enough, had his problems, but it doesn't stop you grafting, and he never grafted. So nah. So long for me. And also, just quickly on Dessers, I totally agree. Much is right about Dessers, by the way, in the current form. But he also gave me PTSD for a long time there. So it's not just a Fenerbahce defenders.
All you need to do is my blind faith and optimism, and you'll be absolutely fine.
I'm going to keep no believing, and then we'll see where it goes. You went into the final, you never know.
I will say though as well, he's strengthening that argument though, where obviously people in January were all shouting, "Oh, sell him, sell him, sell him." No being funny, see if it wasn't for him, who's scoring?
Yeah,
that's a straight up argument.
Eggman, because he's playing his right position.
Eggman's a young player who's going to go hot and cold, mate. At this point,
I'm just saying, there's a couple of fly digs here at Eggman. He's no scored. He's playing a 10 role.
I will never take a dig at our young prodigy, our young prodigal son. No. But we also have to remember as fans, he is a young player. Yeah.
Same
and this is a new level for him that he's never played at before. He's never played beyond 20 games a season before now. I'm like, he's going to have ups, he's going to have downs. That's the nature of top young prospects. So this is why you have experienced international players like Dessers beside him to say, tell you what, son, this is one of the wee cold patches. We've got you. And Gordon, I'll speak to you after there, sunshine.
The thing about Eggman, though, even though he's not playing, I get the impression with a guy like his character, he's still full of confidence. I don't think he's lost any of his confidence, which is great. I think he'll come on tomorrow night and probably score. So he's different character.
Every pause, but Dylan, I'll come to you on this one, mate. Mitch was saying there about the club from Greece that Cifuentes is at. Sorry, forgive me, I've forgotten their name. Possibly coming and trying to negotiate the deal down the way. how would you feel if Rangers did that to Lawns for Oscar Cortes? Do you know, I think, Mitch is saying that you should honour your deal, put up or shut up and get your wallet out. But being the devil's advocate here, should Rangers not be really doing the same to Lawns here and try to get the Oscar Cortes fee down? Because for me, £4 million, when people are saying that, Czerny at 6 3/4, 7 mil, whatever been quoted for Czerny isn't value for money. Well, if Cortes is £4 million, Czerny's got to be £7 million. Do you not think Rangers should be going to look to try and renegotiate that deal?
Aye, but I think it's different, mate, because he's been injured for so long. Like, Cifuentes is here, he's performing, he's doing well. They obviously want to keep him, but they want a different fee. So I think Mitch is right there. Like, if he's doing well for it, different if he's injured. For like Cortes has been injured, then we'll say, well, listen, we don't really know, or we've not seen what this guy can do yet, so we're not really willing to pay that fee. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. This is just my thinking of it. Is there maybe some sort of clause in the mandatory buy options that Sifu's option as well, that if he doesn't hit a certain amount of games, then we don't have to spend that money on him? Is that not a thing? No, because I thought I read that somewhere.
No, the club confirmed that. Patrick Stewart confirmed that it was an obligation on it. Like, so I think even before Clement went up the road, like, he had basically said the plan for him is, let's get him in and get him some minutes, and essentially let's focus on getting him right for next season. So, but
yeah,
I will say on the Cortes front, he has bags of potential, bags of it, like, and he's another player that you just go, we can write one season off at the start where you go, okay, right, this is your breakthrough season at adult football. If we're still having the same conversation in 12 months' time, that's a concern at that point. That's when we have to say, look, tell you what, £2 million for somebody away up the road with you.
Yeah, by all accounts, he never had an injury till he came to us as well. I think he's been really unlucky that way. Maybe the physicality of Scottish games got to him a wee bit and caught him cold. But from what I've seen of him, I thought this guy's going to light this league up. I thought he was a game changer. He can go left, he can go right, he's pacey. And the last time he came on, I seen him, he actually put on a bit of muscle, which is good. And I like that about him. He wants to be here. By all accounts, he's not like he's trying to get away. So I think it's a no-brainer. Obviously, it would be good if the fee wasn't as much as it was. But I think it's a no-brainer to keep him. The fee's already been decided a way back. If he'd have continued on that vein of form that we've seen, or even put up the Czerny numbers, which I think he probably could, you would be like £4 million for a 21, 22-year-old. Absolutely, give me it. So, and again, I trust Cotton, and I think it was him that highlighted him that brought him in. So, and I trust his signs. Egerman's worked out, Jeffrey's worked out for me. They're good players, potential sell-on value. What bothers me is when we touched on Czerny earlier, he wasn't getting a game for Wolfsburg. He came to us. New Wolfsburg are saying, we want $6.5 million for him, right? Well, that's fine, but his agent's on there shopping him about. Doesn't want to stay, he wants to go to a top 5 league. Like, where's the respect there? You'd still be sitting on the bench in Germany if he wasn't coming for and performing for us. And on the other hand, there, 2 seconds, Mitch, Abdallah Sima, who was dying to come back to us, got to go to a Champions League qualified team, and he would rather come to us. So for me, I don't even know if I would love Czerny if he wanted to stay, to have him, but I don't even know if I want him now after hearing that type of thing. It doesn't really want to stay, and I would rather get Sima back in if that's the case.
Yeah, I think you'd probably go to draw comparisons to Malik Tillman and how desperate he was to get back away from us. When you look at players, you don't want to sign someone who doesn't want to be there. Listen, try to keep us on topic for the morning night, guys.
And just to follow on to that, some of what Czerny's agent said has been taken out of context, completely out of context. So his agent said Czerny's enjoying life in Glasgow. He loves it here, but he's also aware that financially it might not be possible to stay. So his agent's doing what a good agent should be doing of, look, it's not a slam dunk that he's going to play.
As well.
But the SPL isn't a top 5 league.
No, I know, but it's guaranteed European football.
Right, so his agent's
would you rather go and play in the German league for Wolfsburg and sit mid-table German league, or because it's a top 5 league. That's what I'm saying. For me, there's no ambition there.
But his agents also spoke factually correct, which the SPFL is not a top 5 league.
No, I understand that. I know. I get
Like
that.
his agent is doing what a good agent's meant to do when you've got a player that's quite clearly in good form, attracted interest. I do still think, personally, there's quite a good chance that Tierney stays here, and I don't think it'll be for some of the subs getting floated about. And it's a gut feeling I've had for. He done a presser, I want to say it was October, November time. And he kind of gave a wee bit of a wink after his answer of, everybody knows where my future lies at the end of the season. And he gave a bit of a smile and a wink. And you're like, I don't know if there was maybe a gentleman's agreement drafted up of, look, maybe it's a contract buyout where you say, well, what is it going to be to buy out your contract for however long's left of? Is it £5 million where Wolfsburg go, well, we broke even on it, fine. And you paid his wages for a season anyway, so...
Best solution is to give Wolfsburg Cortez and we keep Tierney. Everybody's a winner. Let's go for it.
Right. Steve, you go and get a contract done, mate. Go and get drafted up, mate. I'll sign the now.
Stevie, I'm absolutely buzzing to go to Ibrox tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to hearing the noise on the Thursday night that we always speak about. I think the back cam will be even about tomorrow night from what I've been told. Barry Thurston spoke about a mindset that's not been there. Obviously, it's well documented with the last 3 games at Ibrox for the first time in, I think, since 2011-2012 season, since we lost that there. Both Ferguson and even Clement spoke about a nervousness in the team. Are we looking to get this completely gone? My worry is, if we do lose an early goal, does that nervousness start to creep in? And how important is Ibrox going to be tomorrow night to the players?
Yeah, it'll be huge. But I would say the key difference between Ferguson and Clement is Ferguson's trying to address it directly. He said that the day in the press conference. He was like really kind of trying to like impart on the players and take responsibility. It's like he said, I know what it is to play for Rangers at Ibrox on these nights. And you have to want it. You have to really want to be there, because why would you know? It's the best platform. Well, it's not the Champions League, but it's still huge Premier competition. And I think we've all seen it. It's like it is Thursday nights are the best for any Rangers fan. Thursday nights are it. Much better than Saturdays, certainly recently anyway. So yeah, and the fans do get behind it. Like the team's a different atmosphere entirely. As you've said, it's going to be rocking. Even the coverage with BT or TNT, it's brilliant. I mean, they get it. They really get like what Rangers is about. And I think that's probably part of the reason that the takeover's happening. They've looked at these nights and thought, aye, we want a bit of that. That is the future for like Rangers and the 49ers. But yeah, I mean, I get, fair enough, we got a goal done. It's difficult, but we're still ahead in the tie at that point. We go two down, we're level. It's all to play for. So obviously, I don't want it to happen. But I think if it does happen, we'll try and deal with it in the game. And Barry will hopefully try and make changes. But yeah, to me, I was quite sceptical about Ferguson taking over. But the way he speaks, the way he's kind of coming across. Do you know what? It kind of reminds me a wee bit of. Remember when John Collins took care at Hibs? It was an absolute disaster because he was so full of himself. Ferguson's kind of similar in the sense he was a fantastic player, but to me, he's not coming across as arrogant. He's coming across as quite grounded, and I think that is going to reflect on the players. So I hope anyway.
Definitely. Mitch, coming to you, mate. I was having a wee look at the betting odds today. Obviously, Cheltenham Festival been on this week. So,
young man.
Yeah, well, I made my donation to Bet365 today for the Cheltenham Festival. So I lost it the first time. It was Dino's fault. Anyway, the bookmakers have actually got Fenerbahce as favourites for tomorrow night to win the game. Does that surprise you, considering that Rangers have actually never lost to Turkey's opposition at Ibrox?
No. And,
Okay.
and it's a straight. There's a few factors: playing squad value, coaching value, and to a bookie, probably an element of common sense. That on paper, Team X, which is worth, I don't know, I'm no spitballing a number, but they're worth that amount, which is probably double, if not triple, what we are worth. Our players are worth combined at the moment. So you kind of get it. But I think it's also, bookmakers have got a real big tendency to almost overprotect themselves when it comes to the bigger club, so to speak. But we all know these Turkish teams are tiny. We all know this. But I think, for me, doesn't. It's not, I'm not overly surprised at it, and it is just down to. I would probably say the Mourinho factor is a huge factor in it as well. He's been in the trenches. He's been in this position before, and he's got about 700 years worth of track record there of showing that he can do it. You know, I watched him do it season after season at Chelsea, not once but twice. You know, but I'm not massively surprised. But to touch on what Steve had said there as well, like when he was talking about Barry, I think Barry's been very, very respectful of the opportunity that he's got. Of he appreciates and he speaks like a man who knows it's only from here until the summer. He's basically got the childminder's role. That's the best way to put it. He knows he's left to look after the team and basically get them into some sort of shape. Just get us from A to B. Because let's be honest, I think we'd all quite like to see, you know, the back of this season. You know, none of us are going to be sitting here holding too many fond memories of this season. And I think that's kind of what Barry's trying to instill in some of these teams that will have the lasting impression of remember the stature of who you are playing for and remember the 50,000 people that are in the stands week in, week out, because that's the people that are paying your wages every week. So as a bare minimum, get out there, bust a gut for the team, and I have to stop myself from swearing there. Get out there, bust a gut for the team there, and show them exactly that you get their passion by matching that passion with endeavour.
Dylan, just coming to you, mate. Barry Ferguson's obviously made a few changes there. Does Barry Ferguson get himself into the running for the job if he keeps us going in this Europa League?
No, I think he answered that today as well. He says his job is to come in for 3 months, get Rangers winning on a consistent basis, and there you go. Get Rangers winning on a consistent basis and see the team through to the end of the season. I don't think there's any chance. Maybe if the takeover wasn't happening, I don't think there's any chance he gets the job, even if he wins the Europa League. I genuinely don't. I think the guys will thank him and say thanks very much. Do you want to be involved in the coaching staff? But you're not going to lead it. I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion on it. And I think what Stevie touched on there, I think Barry does conduct himself pretty well. And what I liked about Madej was he was asked the question. I think that leading up, the question just asked me, he didn't run for the job. And before that, he says, no, we got off to a good start. He says, we won in Kilmarnock. He says, but the first 20 minutes wasn't good enough. He says, and then even touched back to Motherwell, saying, that's unacceptable. That's nowhere near good enough for to be the level of Rangers. So, whereas if that's come on, he's making excuses for it, or that's in the past, he's still reaffirming that last time he played at Ibrox was not an acceptable performance for his players. And the guys are going to be listening to that and hearing that and saying, he's going on about 2 weeks ago, and that's what should be happening. I'm probably surprised about how much time off they had, I'm not going to lie. I thought he would have had them in a wee bit more often. I think he gave them a couple of days off to go and see with their family. But maybe he's just trying to win the players over, do you know what I mean? Relax them a wee bit because there's no much to play for in the Scottish competitions, and just try to get all the focus on Fenerbahce. But to circle back to your question, I don't think he gets a job. Like I said, even if he wins Europa League, which is a massive ask.
Sure. Listen, we're just
Sorry, can I come on there?
Go on, Stevie. You tell Ryan, shut up a minute and let Stevie speak.
If he wins the Europa League, I'm going to get a tattoo of Barry Ferguson. I'm going to get a mural on the side of my house of Barry Ferguson, and he's getting that Rangers job. I mean, you can't not get the job if he does that. I mean, come on. I mean, that would be like the biggest achievement in Scottish football in like forever or for a long time. So it's a dream, but wins both Old Firm games, win the Europa League, he's got to get the gig. Absolutely.
I think, Dylan's the tactics man here. Like, but there's been a lot of how we've played the last couple of games is very similar to how Issam Shirai had his Moroccan under-20s team playing. And you're beginning to potentially see why he was brought in as the club coach. And you're beginning to maybe ask the question of, is it Shirai pulling the strings in the back, with Barry very much being the public face and the face to the fans? Because if we put another, what it's like, if you put another international name to fans that people didn't know about, and is it safer to have a club legend in there as a spokesperson essentially and help her out, instill the beliefs and instill the pillars of what the club are into the
I
dressing
think you've
room?
been a wee bit cynical and a wee bit snobbish there, mate. I think Barry deserves a bit more credit for last
No,
Thursday.
mate, I will say, mate, I do think Barry's done a good job since he's come in. Like,
Yeah.
what I do think for Barry is, and what's important for him is, he continues to do well between now and the end of the season. And apart the Europa, because let's be honest, Thursday nights, they're always the cherry on top of the season. What I think for him is, if he's serious about actually kickstarting his management career again, the better he does now with us, the more doors that open up for him. Or does he want to go back to being in the radio booth, come the summertime? And I think that's a question that only he will know the answer to, because I think he's showing now with some of the decisions he's made in play that he's got the stones and he's got the mind, to do pretty well.
He takes responsibility and he doesn't hide or talk nonsense after games. He just calls it like it is. And what Dylan said there about maybe in the coaching staff, I could see that maybe like a bigger manager. You look at like Everton when they had Ancelotti, the Duncan Ferguson.
Do you think
he's
too proud for that, Stevie? Do you think he's too proud to take that manager job and then let somebody else come in to be, and then he takes a step back?
Or what Mitch said, go back to working for a rag, you know what I mean? Or like work for, you know what I mean? I think he would do it. I think he would.
I think he'll have enough to do whatever he thinks was right for the club. And I do think that comes from a place of genuine feeling from him towards the club of, if the club turned around and said, look, Barry, one of the names announced today that apparently was in the running is Marco Rose. Now, no being funny, Stevie's going to call me snobby again. So I'm just preempting it, mate, before you do. But you look at the pedigree of a manager like Marco Rose versus the pedigree of former Celtic Hearts manager Barry Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it as that of 49ers, as that where they look at it with, we know they love their stats, they love their data, they love all that jazz that comes with it. Could it be that they've turned around and said, look, we're going to get you essentially a mentor for you to work under, so that in 2, 3, 4 years' time, the keys to the kingdom are yours, but you've already helped build the house.
Yeah. I mean, you need somebody Scottish. You need Scottish players on the team, and you need Scottish on the staff. Even Advocat, who, I don't know, mixed feelings about his time, but he got John Gregg back involved. Stuff like that. There's guys who know the club, know the standards, and Barry Ferguson could fit that mould.
I think definitely long term there's a place for him. I think there's a seat at the table for him somewhere. It's whether or not he wants to be head of the table, I think, for me, or is he happy being the number 2 for a little while until that opportunity, which it will. We all know the nature of the beast. Because if a manager comes here and he does really well, a bigger club's going to come and chap our door and say, I'll be having him, thanks very much. And at that point, the replacement's already in the house.
Yep, guys, I'm going to start going round for some final thoughts in a wee second. Just a couple of wee bits of housekeeping. Tonight's show has obviously been sponsored by Off to the Match I Go. You'll see a QR code on the screen here. We're proudly sponsored by them. So if you're looking for a wee treat for yourself, a loved one, if there's an anniversary, a birthday, or a special occasion coming up, and you're looking for a little bit of memorabilia for the house, for your man cave, for your office, there's no better place to buy than Off to the Match I Go. If you use the code Journal10 at the checkout, you will get a 10% discount as well. So hop on over there and see what they've got to go. I'm going to go round for some final thoughts, guys. One last thing before I go. There's a 40 minute, on the 40th minute, sorry, there's a minute's applause for Christopher Potter, who we sadly lost last week out in Istanbul. So hopefully all our fans can take the time to actually participate in that in his honour. There's also a march that's been organised by the Union Bears at 6:30. It's starting at Sexton Station. So if you want to go along to that, absolutely enjoy the atmosphere and stay safe. Dylan, I'll come to you first of all. Your final thoughts and your match prediction, please.
Well said, Ryan. There, well said, mate. I just hope that we don't get into our head too much. I would like to see us be calm and collective on the ball, and play Mourinho his own game. As soon as we feel the slight touch in the back go down, take if it is going that way for Fenerbahce, take the sting out of the game. Go and annoy him. Because I'm putting a card on. I bet on him getting a card tomorrow night. So definitely go and wind their players up. Go and annoy him. Keep calm on the ball. And I think we've seen it last week. Our football will take over. There'll be spaces here to be got at. Cherny's pace killed him last week. So I think that's their game plan. We've already went and done it at a harder venue. And I think the fans just need to just give everything they've got. So looking forward to it. And I'm going to go 3-1 Rangers again.
Brilliant, thanks, mate. Stevie, yourself, your match predictions, your final thoughts, please.
Oh, I'd take that. 3-1 would be fantastic. I want us to treat tomorrow night's game like remember when we played Dortmund? We beat them away 4-2 and then we got them back at Ibrox. That was a really good performance, like controlled aggression, tried to win the game. Never went for it like crazy, but we just like really controlled, really thought it, and faced a really good team of great players. Tomorrow night's very similar. I'm going to go, I think it might be a 2 each or a 2-1. As long as we qualify, that's the main thing. Fans are going to play a huge part. It's going to be great.
Definitely. Thank you, mate. Mitch, yourself?
I'm going to go a little bit more conservative than the boys and probably say a safe 1-0, no thrills, no spills, and I will take a drab, boring as hell, nothing each, no panics, no nothings. I'll take that if this time tomorrow night we are sitting here and my heart rate is currently right now. If it's sitting through the roof, I'm for an NHS 24 and then I'm going to blame Barry Ferguson and co for what they've done to me. I think, genuinely, I can see it being either nothing each or 1-0 to us, and it'll be that home factor and a Thursday night factor. I think the one thing not to underestimate, though, with Fenerbahce is they have a fullback back. They have Odison Bright, and I'm not taking a crack at the last part of his surname because I'll make him elate. But the boy that was unavailable for them last Thursday through suspension, he's back. He's got a quick pair of heels on him. So I think, that could be a bit of a difference maker down his side.
Yeah, definitely. Well, for me, my prediction is 1 each. I think Jack Butland will get man of the match, actually. I think he's going to prove a few doubters wrong. So I'm really looking forward to it. 1 each will do for me. I'll be well happy with that. Guys, listen, thanks very much for your time. Everyone that's tuned in and watched, thank you also for tuning in and spending the time. Hopefully the team do the business tomorrow night, and we haven't even touched on Sunday, which is obviously a massive game, if not for competition, but certainly for pride more than anything else. So please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and always remember that every night is a Rangers film.